For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quat, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Seth Michael. How's it going today, Seth?
What's going on, yo?
Glad to have you on. I was really excited when we were able to reschedule this because I think we were supposed to have you on 2 or 3 weeks ago, and going through some family medical stuff here, so I had to reschedule a bunch of these. But luckily, I think you were the last one that I had to get rescheduled, so I'm out of the woods there. But like I said, I'm really excited to have you on, and I wanted to thank you for giving us the time to sit down and chat. But before we kind of jump into everything you got going on, we were talking a little bit about your big move to Nashville, being shut down by COVID, and now you got new music releasing. What's kind of your backstory? What got you into music? Like, what's your comic book origin story, I guess would be the best way to...
Yeah, so I got a pretty cool one. So, growing up, I was in a private Christian academy, and I came from some good, my parents were pretty wealthy, and I went to a private Christian academy, and I would sing praise and worship every morning. That was my gig. Like, wake up, go to school, try to race my brother out the door, and go sing praise and worship in chapel every single morning. And that's how I started like singing. And I didn't even know I could sing. I didn't know that, I was even good or anything. And years went by, and I was just still leading the worship. And like, what I mean by that is, like, I would stand in front of the stage with like all the like students. It was like a little mini choir. Mm-hmm. And I was one of the kids that had the microphones. There was only like 4 kids that had microphones. And I would sing every day. And finally, I started to realize, I was like, dang, my parents kind of noticed that I was kind of a good singer, I guess. And I'd sang at my cousin's wedding, and started doing weddings after that, just people's weddings, family members' weddings, and then went to bars eventually. And I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of want to do this. And one of my main influences is Gary LeVox with Rascal Flatts. Mm-hmm. And he teaches me everything I know vocally. And I grew up with a little karaoke machine in my room, and I would sing all the Rascal Flatts karaoke, and that was what I would do with my time. And my parents surprised me with a meet and greet ticket to Rascal Flatts, and I was literally starstruck. We got there, and they passed around a little bucket, and you could write on a note card what you wanted to ask them. And my mom wrote on the note card for me. She said, "Can my son sing with you?" And I had no idea what was going on. And they're like, "Where's Seth at?" And man, I sunk to the floor. I was like, holy moly, what? So I ended up walking up there and singing with Rascal Flatts. And
oh, wow.
We sang God Bless the Broken Road, which is my favorite song. And freaking killed it, man. And I usually you sing with vibrato and shake your voice a little bit to make it sound nice. And I really didn't have to do that because my knees were doing it for me.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that changed my life. That feeling of playing in front of those people, and that really was a starting point for me. And I decided that I was going to do that with my entire life. So since that day, I did everything in music. So
awesome.
That's my coming up.
And you're originally from Georgia, right?
Yeah. Yep. I grew up in Georgia, Buford, Georgia.
Which is where, I'm assuming it's like south of Atlanta, or
it's north of Atlanta.
Okay.
And northeast.
Okay.
Right on Lake Lanier.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's why I was a little confused, because I've never been east of Atlanta. I'm usually west. I usually travel west of Atlanta. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, so about a year ago, you ended up moving to Nashville. How long had that trip or that move kind of been in the works for you?
Dude, since I was 15 years old, man, you know, I just been watching videos and they're all like, hey, this is the place to be. Like Nashville is where everybody gets their start. And I was like, well, dang, I think I need to move there. And I watched so many interviews and stuff. People are like successful people. Like I was watching a Casey Musgraves interview at like the ACM and she was like, yeah, I moved to Nashville. And like, I was like, well, I guess I got to do that.
Yeah.
So finally, I was living in Athens, Georgia at the time when I moved to Nashville. I lived in Athens for like 6 months, just a little time playing at college or at UGA, doing little frat parties and stuff.
Yeah.
I wrote a song about my grandmother and my grandfather called "Write Me," and it's basically about how they kind of fell in love during the war and how it was kind of difficult to reach each other back then. So it was really cool. And I submitted that song to my local radio station, 94.9 The Bull, and they played it on a little program called Backyard Country. And it aired for, I think, 10 weeks. And I was like number one for, I think 4 weeks out of the 10, which was really cool.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And I got kind of like a reward, I guess. And they let me open for Justin Moore in Atlanta. It was a big concert benefit for St. Jude Hospital, and opened for Justin Moore, Lauren Elena, Russell Dickerson, Low Cash, and Teddy Robb. And
that's awesome.
But so I met Low Cash backstage, and they were the coolest dudes ever. And Preston, the guy with the mohawk, was like, dude, if I was your age, I'd move to Nashville tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, dude, I would if I could. And he was like, you know what, man, let me get your number. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. So we exchanged numbers, and he texted me. He's like, hey, I got a place for you to stay in Nashville if you want to do it. And I totally bit that and took him up on that offer and went straight to Nashville and with my parents. And he showed us the condo, and he wrote songs. He lived in that condo for 11 years, I think, and wrote all his songs there. And people like Dan and Shay and Chris Jansen have all there and written with them in that room. So just great vibes. So I was super excited. And that's when I moved to Nashville. That was my story of moving. That's
awesome. That's really cool. It's, and he was right though, like being so young, it is the time to just start doing crazy things.
Yeah.
Like start taking chances and just hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I keep telling young kids, I say it like I'm so much older than everyone else, but when you're talking to 18-year-olds and I'm almost 34, it's like, yeah, that's, that's quite a bit of a age gap there. But like I tell all these musicians that are coming out of high school, it's like, just go for it. You want to play music? Just go for it. Like, you don't have any real responsibilities right now. Take the summer and go for it.
Yep.
So, I mean, unless you were one of them guys that just happened to or have a kid while you're in high school, you don't have any real anchors tying you down right now. So, I think going to Nashville was a good move for you. So you've been there for about a year. How's your experience been so far?
Dude,
pandemic playing a factor.
I honestly think the pandemic really helped me. I'm one of those few people that it kind of affected positively. Not financially, but it hit to where everybody kind of flooded out of Nashville. And because, people were losing money and, people just went back home into quarantine.
Yeah.
And I was there in Nashville, and I went down to Broadway, and man, it was just ghost town. Like nobody was out there. This was in the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and get in with the people around here.
Yeah.
I went into Rippy's barbecue, and I walked in there, and there's a couple of people playing on the side stage, and I was like, "Yo, you guys are really good. How much would it be if I could sing one?" And they're like, "Oh, you know what, dude? Nobody is in here. Come on up here and sing one." And I went up there, and man, they were like, "Wow."
Yeah.
They really liked it. And they're like, "You need to meet this person." And they introduced me to Anita. She's one of the booking agents down there on Broadway, and she just got me started right away. I was playing with like bands right off the bat, like just because nobody was there. All the musicians had gone away, and I was there, and I literally played like almost every day throughout COVID. I've probably played over 300 shows.
And you're talking like in-person shows, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like socially distant. There was like a big like barrier, and then we had social everything, and there was literally nobody in the bar, like maybe 2 or 3 people at a time.
That's
so
awesome.
Nobody making $40 base pay, I think, for like a whole year. And then since I did that, I got to meet all of the musicians and all of the people, all of the I just networked like crazy when nobody was around. And now that everyone's back in here, I was like, man, I kind of did that at a good time, because that would have been almost impossible to make all the contacts I did when Nashville was just flooded with talent and musicians.
Yeah. It was one of those things. Basically, you were in the right place at the right time, because you had just moved to Nashville and you weren't going to move back, because what else are you going to do? And a lot of the musicians that had been there for a few years and there wasn't anything for them to do. So you took the chance and went out and just by chance just happened to meet a lot of people from not necessarily from Nashville, but they didn't have anywhere else to go because they had a business there, or they had business interests there, and they couldn't just abandon the business, and it just ended up paying off for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I just became best friends with everybody, and they liked my voice, and I got good shifts. And then when everybody came back, I had good shifts. I was playing the night shift.
Still hanging on to those good spots that you worked so hard for over the last year. And then of course, during the pandemic, you did a lot of writing because you released a couple singles, and you got a new one dropping. When's the new single drop? I didn't catch it.
May 6th.
May 6th. So next week. Wow. Can't believe it's May already. That's bizarre.
This year went by more than last year was.
Yeah, I know. It really is. Like, it is mind-boggling. But so you got the new single dropping next week. What's kind of the story behind that?
She Got a Thing is what it's called, and I always make a joke in the crowd. It's kind of a dirty joke, but I always go, this is my song, She Got a Thing. It's not what you think it means. But She Got a Thing. It's like she got a thing for me. Yeah. That's the story. And this song was not written by me. I fell in love with the song. This is like my baby of a song. Like, it was pitched to me in 2016.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this was way before I was even thinking about moving to Nashville or anything like that. But I got a call from a company saying, "Hey, like, you want to come make music or record music?" And I was like, "Sure, heck yeah." And like, I thought it was like getting famous or something, but it was just a guy who wanted to record music for me for like $1,500. And I was like, all right. But I, ended up doing a little EP, and then it just turned out horribly, and I deleted it. Nice. So kind of like wasted my money.
Yeah.
because I didn't know what I was doing, but one of the songs I put on that EP was "She Got a Thing," and man, it just did terribly. And I was like, this song really needs to come back, and it deserves a much better production, and it deserves a second chance. And man, it'll knock your socks off. The new version will knock your socks off. Super excited for it to come out. It's awesome. It's an awesome song.
Nice. So basically, the original recording session was a very, very expensive learning lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what though? I tell everybody those are the kind of lessons. Like initially, you don't want those lessons, but those are the lessons that you don't forget. Like you don't forget those lessons.
Absolutely. Yep.
Especially when it costs you a whole bunch of money like that. It's like, yep, never making that mistake again.
Yeah, definitely gave me a swift kick in the butt for sure. Yeah, I always gotta. I know what the prices are now. So
yeah. Okay, so when you said $1,500, I was like, man, that's like
an album cut. That's like that's an industry standard album cut is $1,500, and that was probably like they could charge me that, but what came out for $1,500 is what I was upset about. It sounded terrible.
I know. I could have there's just so many, there's just so many things with that lesson, but you learned it, you won't make it again. That's the important part. But so She Got a Thing, that's releasing on Friday. Yep, Friday, May 6th. Are you working towards like another EP, or are you just kind of staying with singles right now?
So yeah, I'm just doing little singles. This next one is going to be a single, but right after that, it's time for a big old chunk of music for people to listen to. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an EP or an album, but it most likely will be an album, I think. Got a lot of songs in the works. I got a couple right now that we've written, and they're really good. So that will be exciting and awesome when that comes out for sure.
Nice. And so those are still you haven't recorded those yet?
No, haven't.
Gotcha. Hey, it's, you got something to work for now. What's kind of going into the creative process as you work towards this EP or album, whatever you decide it to be? Are you writing specifically for it, or are you just writing until you think you have enough to put together what you're looking for? Like, what's kind of been the creative process?
So when I write songs kind of weird. Okay. Not like other people do. The way you want to write a song, come up with your hook first. Mm-hmm. The hook, "She Got a Thing." All right, let's build around that. I don't really do that. I kind of pick up a guitar or sit at my piano and I create my chord progression first, and then write the whole production, like the whole song without any words. I don't know. I just have like an idea of what I want it to sound like. Yeah. And then slap words right on top of that. That's how I make my songs. But kind of unheard. I don't know if anybody else.
I've heard it. I hear it both ways. Like I could see it both ways. For me, you see it a lot more with bands where they'll come up with like they'll come up with like instrumentals and whatnot before they come up with the words. But I guess everybody has their own style and whatnot. But when you are sitting down to write, or when you are in that creative mode writing, are you a little bit more free flowing, or are you very disciplined with your writing? Like, are you able to say, okay, today from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. sit down to write, or are you just kind of?
Yeah, I'm not on the pub deal level yet. You know what I mean? I'm not like sitting down and pounding. I think my best songs come out when I'm inspired and when the moment comes to me,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that the more disciplined writers come with musicians that have other factors going on in life, like if they have kids or if they have a family or if they have like a 9-to-5 job, and it's just like they can't always be free flowing with their creativity. So they have to kind of discipline themselves, like, okay, I can be creative from this time to this time. So it's, I think it all kind of just depends on other factors in life.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So for She Got a Thing, are you looking at possibly doing like a music video or anything, or is it, what's kind of the thought process on that?
So I just did my first like official music video, and that was for She Got a Thing. And man, that was a fun time.
Nice.
Like I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was so fun recording it. My first little girlfriend that I've ever had, we were, little sweethearts since freaking kindergarten. Like we grew up together, and we kind of went separate ways, I think in middle school or something. But I was like, how funny would it be to have her be like the star of my music video. So I gave her a call, and she was like, this is so random, but I'm so down.
Nice.
So she drove all the way to Tennessee from North Carolina, and we did the music video, and it was awesome, man. We filmed all over Nashville and at my house, and we had a blast. It was awesome. It's gonna be a really awesome music video.
Nice. That's awesome.
Really good quality.
And is that coming out on the 6th as well, or is that going to come out later?
It's going to come out later. Yeah. Shout out to James McGettrick Media. He's the guy who shot the whole music video. He's phenomenal.
Nice. Can't wait to check it out. I always love watching independent music videos, just because I think there's a raw and realness to a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to check it out when it drops. So outside of the music business, what are some of the things you like to do? What are some of your hobbies? I was looking through your Facebook page. I could tell you like to be outdoors and do ATVing and stuff like that. But
yeah, recently I've been trying to find kind of a resting place. What I mean by that is like I've just been grinding, like, and I'm looking for somewhere to go to just mentally and physically just relax myself, just for a little bit before I start getting back out there. And I noticed that when I'm like lazy, it kind of gives me anxiety. So I'm like, you know what? I need to be doing something. And I start doing something again. I could never figure out where my peace was. And yeah. I think I finally figured it out. And it's riding. It's like riding four-wheelers. I don't know what it is. It's just so fun, and it releases all of my stress, and it's a great time. So I went and bought myself a four-wheeler, and that's all I do nowadays is ride on the weekends and play those. And, I'm always upgrading my four-wheeler, which is probably not a good place to dump all my money, but also
everybody has to have a hobby, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, so. Funny thing is, I'm actually in Talladega, Alabama right now, at this thing called Mud Jam.
Okay.
And it's like a huge music festival, off-roading ATV park.
Oh wow! Wow.
So yeah, I'm on my campsite right now with my tent and my guitar and my four-wheeler.
Nice. Are you playing and riding, or are you just there to ride?
Oh, I'm just riding this weekend. I'm not playing, but yeah, man, it's
gotcha.
just fun, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a good weekend. Like, I mean, I don't know what the weather's like out there, but I'm sure it's wonderful, right?
It's nice. It's not too hot, not too cold.
Awesome. Well, I won't take up too much more of your time then, so you can get back out there and having a good weekend. If everybody wants to, or if anybody wants to check out your music and anything else you got going on, where's the best place for them to do that?
Anywhere. It's all out there. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, all the digital platforms for music. YouTube. If you don't have any of that, YouTube, just look up Seth Michael. You can go to sethmichaelmusic.com and it'll have all of my music on there also, and lots of other fun stuff. And it's all online. So go check me out, Seth Michael.
Awesome. Once again, Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really glad we were able to sit down and chat a little bit. Anytime you want to come back on, feel free to reach out, and love to have you back on. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.
See ya.
Cool. We are good, sir.
All right, cool.